Welcome to Real with me, Zara King. I have been in business and personal development for years alongside raising my family. I started in the beauty industry in 2011, moved into network marketing and then coaching and NLP. This podcast originally began helping beauty professionals, and now I support ambitious women in a wider arena of service-based businesses. It is all about real, uncensored conversations on coming home to you and your alignment. You are done playing at a level that you know you've outgrown, and you're ready to go all in on creating more income, more freedom, mental clarity, and a business that actually works for your life. Inside this podcast, we talk real business, real life, and the hard parts most people avoid, from identity to strategy and what it actually takes to grow as women and mothers who want it all. So if you're ready to trust yourself fully and step into your next level, you're in the right place. Hello and welcome back to another episode. Thank you very much for tuning in. If it is your first time here, I am Zara King, your host. Don't ask me why I'm in such a funky, energetic mood. That is what the podcast does to me. I am a mother of 3. I have another baby growing inside my belly. Number 4 is on the way. And I've been in business for 14 years. And I've been in personal development for 2 decades. So this is the right place for you. If you're a woman who wants it all, like me, you're in business and you're fucking great at what you do and you just need those extra bits of spice. This is what I help clients with, to get to the next level for them. You know, the one that really is what they're going for, not that sort of first level of success that they love and that they're great at and that they've had for a while, because, you know, they know that they've outgrown that stuff. So if that's you, welcome and thank you for tuning in. We have so many people that tune in from everywhere and it always blows my mind. So thank you. Today's episode is going to be about the fact that your business will never outgrow you, and it will always get easier, if you like, when you are working on you. When you're working on yourself, your identity, your internal world, when that is at its height, your business grows with more ease. And that is what I want to talk about today. You know, it's a fun one. So what happens is you might realize this because, like I said in the beginning, you've been in business a while and you are trying to grow and you haven't, like, you know the strategy stuff and you're quite willing to implement the strategy stuff, put yourself out there, you know what you're selling, you know how to speak to your clients, you know how to serve them, you know what you're doing, like, to a T. And so it's not necessarily new strategy that you need, but you want to get to the next level, whether that be, like, normally it's level of income. Let's be honest, most people want to get to that next level of increasing their income. But also the women that I work with are looking to get to the next level of life. Like, they want to be able to have a little bit of more time freedom, take time off, have a day that they drop, you know, from seeing clients. And so the strategy isn't necessarily what you need, but it's feeling quite hard and stretchy to get to that level. And you're like, where is this ceiling even coming from, right? And obviously that just doesn't feel great, does it? No one wants to be there. So that's what I want to talk about today, because what it is that needs to change or grow and go up a gear and up a level is generally you. So I don't know if you've listened to the pod before, you've probably heard me talking about self-concept, which is the way that you see yourself. So I learned about self-concept this year more than I ever have before, and the way that it applies to the business growth. Now, on the surface level of things, I think it's quite obvious. You might think it's quite obvious that if you do a bit of mindset work and you're a little bit ahead of the game in that aspect, you tend to be able to be, like, growth-minded, open-minded, like, and have a growth mindset, and you're able to, like, do things that feel a little bit hard, X, Y, and Z. But when you take it a layer deeper and you look inside your actual kind of way you're made up and the way you see that you're made up and the way you articulate who you are as a person and feel about the way you are as a person, that's your self-concept, and that's a layer deeper than just like working on yourself, your habits, like little bits and bobs like that. So when you think about it, if I was to ask you, what kind of person are you? What is it that you see yourself able to hold, capable of holding business-wise? Have a think about that. Like, how big or what level of business? What does it look like? Do you see yourself being able to hold a big company with staff? Or do you see yourself being able to hold, a self-employed business that still does multi-six figures, or even seven figures? And do you see yourself capable of holding those things? Or do you see yourself capable of holding more clients, or offering higher value services, or, higher ticket level of offers and stuff? Do you see yourself that way? Because if you don't, that's what's going to hold you back, or part of what is going to hold you back. And what I want to bring to your attention is that you actually get to choose to be that kind of woman, to be the kind of woman who does hold whatever vision you have that is in your wildest dreams. You get to choose to be the woman who holds whatever the frig you want to hold, okay? But you have to believe it at a subconscious level. So this is the repetitive work that I'll do with clients to make sure that, we're not just searching for more strategy. We can do that until the cows come home. But we're actually looking at the way we see ourselves, the way we see what we're capable of holding, what we see our value as, like the way we value ourselves and see our value that we bring to the world. That is so important. How we see our own authority and what you deem to be authority. This is important. It's like you might think that authority looks a certain way, but that doesn't align with actually who you are and want to portray at the next level. Well, it's a case of changing the way we see that. So it's the way you see yourself at that next level. If you can't see yourself, that's why you're stuck. So that identifies or shines a light on where your upper limit is at the moment. Like the upper limit of what you can hold at the moment, and at every level as you evolve, is going to kind of like come to light when you are unconsciously like resisting growth. So have a think about that. Like, what is your upper limit at the moment? What feels really, really stretchy but still maybe doable? And how do you see yourself when you're there? And does it really, truly feel good in the body? Like, does it feel aligned? If it does, then great, because you can work on practicing and repeating those belief patterns and thought patterns and internal work that helps you get there. And you'll notice that as you do that, the strategy comes, the business grows, and things align. And if you can't see that yet, then there is something that needs work on, i.e. there's probably a limiting belief in there somewhere that you're actually not capable of that level, which is untrue, by the way, because you are. But it's in there somewhere, and we need to uncover why it's in there, where it came from. We need to uncover how you feel about it and whether that's true or false. We need to uncover what unhelpful stories you have married up with it, like what the kind of unhelpful stories that you've put in place about it, like that you've made up, basically. And then we need to decide to change it, like how we'd rather feel, and work on our identity in that area. That's what we need to work on. And this is why some of this stuff can take some time. But other times it can be really fast, and you can go through levels quite quickly when you get on board with it and practice it properly. So that's when you see people that have big leaps and bounds in their business, and they go from being in an industry for a few months to going to that next level, and you're like, oh my fucking God, how have you run so fast from one area of business to another? And it's like, it's because they took the fear away, they saw themselves as the woman who could, and they just made a decision to go for it and work on themselves along the way. And every step along the way, as they worked on that level that they needed to be at to hold that section of their business, it aligned and it kept evolving and it kept moving at the same time. Now, what does happen is that you obviously are always evolving. We're always evolving. There's always something changing, something pivoting, something happening, another level creeping up on us. Or if we're ahead of the game and we want to stay ahead of like the curve in our industry, we always want to be evolving and changing our offers after a year, or changing our offers after 2 years, or, just evolving as people and business owners. But what starts to happen when you start going, there's that next level, I can see it, I can feel it, or that's what I want, or that's triggering me, and is this unconscious kind of resistance of growth happens, where you become like inconsistent with certain things, or you start self-sabotaging certain things, or you start second guessing yourself again, or undercharging and things, or falling back into habits that don't suit that next level. And maybe you can, like, as I say this, maybe you think, oh my God, you're talking to me, like this has happened, I'm trying to do this and it's just not gone as as nicely as I would have liked. If that's you, like, then obviously I can help you process through that. But it's like, okay, let's do this work then. Let's search for a little bit more of the way I see myself and where it's coming up for me and how I feel about it all, I literally had to pause the episode there because somebody was outside talking really, really loudly. When you're like, be quiet. Can't wait to get back in the house. I know I keep saying it, and we might be when this comes out, because I am recording a couple of weeks ahead. However, we're still not at time of recording, which means, I'm just having to deal with like noise, because this area is just, I just feel like these new builds, like they're just not, they're not like soundproof, and obviously it's not my office, so it's not set up properly. Anyway, I'm going to move on because that is boring. My point of this episode is this, right? Notice if this is happening to you, because your business will get easier if you do, I promise. So I have a couple of steps for you. Well, there's more than a couple here. First and foremost, what I want you to do, I want you to audit everything. I want you to have a look at the business and the level that you're at. Does that feel like it could grow? Where does it feel like it could grow? How do you feel about the business at the moment? Do you love it? What would you rather it look like if you don't love it? Like, if you could love it, what would that look like? What would it look like? Still in that funky energy. And then what I want you to think about is, have you been avoiding any growth, change? Has there been a little bit of resistance to anything? Have we started being inconsistent with anything? Because that is the self-sabotage happening there. If we've been avoiding and resisting stuff, that will generally speak volumes and tell you something's got to sort of give here. We need to change. We're not adapting. We need to do some work on ourselves to feel safe. Okay? Because when this avoidance is happening, what's happening unconsciously is your nervous system doesn't feel safe to do that thing, to receive that thing, to grow into that next level. It's going, no, I don't feel safe to do that. So we have to make it feel safe, right? So how do we do that? Obviously, we go through the process of the identity work that we do together inside my programs, and we make ourselves feel safer to receive. But for you to do this alone, to start with this, is a case of doing what I'm saying. Audit everything. Look at what you're avoiding. What are you not following through on? Build some awareness first around what it is and why you don't feel safe to receive the thing. I don't know what the thing is. Do that audit and figure that out, like what you're hesitating about, blah, blah, blah. And then think, where am I like internally feeling it? Like, where do I internally feel resistance? And then you have to validate. And this is like a process that I go through with clients. It's like, okay, we validate it because it is trying to keep us safe. But we look at actually like what's true and what's not true. And like I said before, the stories we've made up about it, what we'd prefer to be true, and we move from a different energy. And we do it over and over again. And then what I want you to do, that's kind of separate, but what I want you to do also is look at where you're like butting up against strategy stuff. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not the strategy that's the problem. You probably need to do the internal work and then start collecting evidence that you're safe to receive the next level. Okay, collect that evidence every single day that you're safe to receive the next level of your life and business and what it looks like. And also collect the evidence every day that you don't avoid, that you don't sabotage, that you don't hesitate, that you don't resist. Collect the evidence to back yourself, to trust yourself. That is literally key. Because you can do it. You're just looking in the wrong places, and you think that you've got probably, issues with outputs and strategies and all the rest of it. But actually, you can probably simplify a lot. Now, what I want to leave you with is this. When you're moving into another level and you need to grow in your identity to become the person ready to hold that next level version of you, starting to implement some of that now, if you look into it and you're like, this is what the person, like if I look at the person of me, like the version of me who has that already, what does it look like? What does it feel like? What am I doing? All of the rest of it. And start implement something that now, you generally, from experience, are going to have to let go of something. You have to like simplify, make space, let go, clear the cupboards. You know what I mean? Have a declutter, because you're making space to receive more. And maybe we're just full of shit. No, you're great at what you do. I know you're not full of shit. But you know what I mean? Like maybe we're just full to the brim. Maybe we're a little bit saturated. So to make that space for us to feel safe, to receive the next thing, let go. So it's a real case of looking at what you can let go. Okay? I'm going to leave you there. So this was just that kind of convo today where I wanted you to think, oh yeah, well that's a little bit of me. And if you need my help processing, the details are all in the description as always. You know where to find me. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you on the next one.